Hey basketball guys, we have news. Let's go to more news from the Golden State Warriors, but before that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. In the NBA, many unprecedented events happen, especially with player transfers. Teams sign players so they can be successful, but many players don't evolve when they are under contract. Other players go through a bad phase, and when they are transferred to another team, some players resurface and become successful. Ben Simmons is an all-star and all-defensive player, but he is in a bad phase, but a change could bring back the best defender in the NBA. Rumors: Warriors hire ex-all-star, in bold deal. The Warriors are desperate to extend Steph Curry's window for title contention. That's the only reason they'd consider signing Ben Simmons if he hits free agency. Steve Kerr has earned a great reputation for his ability to fit unique players into devastating lineups in Golden State. Ben Simmons might be the most difficult player to build an effective lineup around in the NBA. It's only logical that the Warriors would be interested in signing the former number 1 overall pick if the Nets buy him out later this year. NBA analyst Bill Simmons believes the Australian could become a crazy backup for Draymond Green in Golden State. I think Simmons, has a chance to become one of the most fascinating February buyout guys in a few years, because he could be the center of New Orleans. He could be an absolutely crazy Draymond Green backup at Golden State, Simmons said, hat tip Blue Man Hoop. NBA analyst believes Ben Simmons would be crazy backup for Draymond Green. Like Green, Simmons is also a versatile big man who has the athletic tools required to be a defensive nightmare for opponents. Unlike Green, Simmons hasn't shown the requisite fire to be that sort of defender at a high level. It's conceivable that Golden State's switching scheme could get the most out of Simmons' versatility as a defender. He has the foot speed and length required to stay in front of most big wings and big men. He lacks the quickness required to stay in front of the best lead guards in the NBA, but he can hold up in short bursts against those sorts of stars with his length. Simmons would also be an awkward offensive fit in Golden State. Green works as an elite passer with the starters because he is just enough of a shooter to force opponents to guard him on the perimeter. Simmons' outside shooting is non-existent. Simmons would need the ball in his hands to garner that kind of attention from opposing defenses with the Warriors. That will not happen anytime Steph Curry is on the floor. The more likely outcome for Simmons' offensive success in Golden State is to give him the freedom to serve as an offensive creator for the team's second unit. The idea of him combining with Jonathan Kuminga as a pick-and-roll duo is intriguing. Kerr could also deploy Simmons in the high post with the ball in his hands to see if he can unlock Simmons' elite passing ability. If any team in the NBA can find a way to get positive value out of Simmons, it would be the Warriors. Only Kerr and the team's brain trust can decide whether or not putting the unique big man in positions to succeed is worth the effort. It is the type of transaction that could pay off handsomely for a veteran team in need of a talent infusion. Jonathan Kuminga's days with Warriors may be numbered according to recent rumors. Jonathan Kuminga is betting on himself to have the best season of his career. Jonathan Kuminga's future with the Golden State Warriors is very much uncertain beyond this season. Heading into the NBA's rookie scale extension deadline, which was marked by the start of the regular season, the hope was that the Golden State Warriors and Jonathan Kuminga could find a middle ground on a contract extension. That didn't happen as both sides decided it was in their best interests to allow the season to play out. Stemming from that decision, there is already some potential fallout. According to a recent report, there's already growing speculation that Kuminga could have a list of suitors heading into next summer. One team to keep an eye on as Kuminga prepares for restricted free agency, in the eyes of Bleacher Report's Jake Fisher, is the Brooklyn Nets. Brooklyn is expected to have a pretty clean cap sheet next summer, and Kuminga could be considered a worthy gamble for the team. But the list of potential Kuminga suitors is expected to grow. Considering the Warriors may not have much more financial flexibility next summer, there's a growing chance they could be outbid in their pursuits to re-sign the talented big. Jonathan Kuminga's slow start to the season. With the hope that Kuminga would enter the season in stride, he's had an admittedly slow start to the year. Through 2 games, while the Warriors may be experiencing success, Kuminga has gotten off to a rough start. Through the first week of the season, Kuminga is averaging just 6 points and 3 rebounds on 29% shooting from the field. He's also averaging under 20 minutes per contest. It is a bit odd what has happened with Kuminga to start the season, especially considering he looked like a player primed for a breakout year. It's truly a small sample size for Kuminga, and it would be outrageous to freak out about a slow start. But it's clear that if something doesn't change quickly, it could complicate Kuminga's situation even more with the Warriors. And if the whispers are accurate that Kuminga could be drawn elsewhere next summer, perhaps it's something the Warriors may foresee and be proactive about the possibility of losing him for nothing. I wouldn't say it's likely, but would it be surprising if the Warriors explore Kuminga's trade market before the deadline? If nothing else, it's certainly something to watch and another layer to this increasingly complicated situation. Draymond Green gets real on Warriors' pursuit of Paul George and Lauri Markkanen. Draymond Green reflects on the Warriors' off-season trade pursuits, weighing the value of proven chemistry over flashy roster additions. Draymond Green recently weighed in on the Golden State Warriors' potential moves this offseason to acquire Paul George and Lauri Markkanen, candidly expressing his thoughts on why the deals ultimately didn't happen and what their impact might have been, as reported by Own Youngmisuk of ESPN. That could have been trash, by the way. Markkanen coming here, we don't know. We have never seen it. So there was no thought of what could have been because we don't know what that looked like. The Warriors, facing the challenge of maintaining championship viability as their core ages, explored high-profile acquisitions to bolster their roster around Stephen Curry and Green. Though both George and Markkanen were intriguing targets, neither deal materialized, and Green feels the team's current roster composition remains solid. In his blunt style, Green dismissed the potential addition of Markkanen as an unproven fit within the Warriors system. While Markkanen's shooting and spacing could add value, Green points out that bringing in a new player, even one with the skill set of the 7 feet 0 inches Jazz forward, could disrupt the Warriors' established system without guaranteeing a significant payoff. The Warriors also explored the possibility of acquiring Paul George, an elite two-way player whose experience and scoring ability could have offered valuable support to Golden State's aging roster. However, according to Green, talks with the Clippers quickly stalled due to the Clippers' reluctance to participate in a sign-and-trade scenario. George eventually signed a lucrative contract with the Philadelphia 76ers, eliminating the possibility of joining Golden State. Green acknowledged that getting both Markkanen and George would have been a huge splash but ultimately out of reach. He also pointed out that Jazz executive Danny Ainge's negotiation style made the Markkanen trade difficult to finalize, with Ainge known for driving a hard bargain. The Warriors' front office, led by General Manager Mike Dunleavy Jr., faced complex decisions regarding the team's depth and potential trade assets. With a deep roster featuring several young players, including Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody, the Warriors have options they could leverage in a potential trade. However, Dunleavy was hesitant to part with young talent or draft capital unless the incoming player could definitively raise the Warriors' title prospects. Draymond echoed this sentiment, underscoring the importance of finding players who fit seamlessly into their existing core, which includes Curry, Klay Thompson, and Green himself. Reflecting on these missed opportunities, Green sees the situation as an opportunity to evaluate the team as currently constructed. A more streamlined lineup could benefit them, but it's a balancing act. While consolidating the roster for a proven veteran remains an option, Green is confident in the group they have now and sees this season as a chance to showcase what the roster can accomplish. Draymond Green's candid reflections highlight both the complexities of managing a championship roster and the uncertainties that come with introducing new, high-profile players. Markkanen's and George's potential could have been enticing, but Green's perspective emphasizes the Warriors' need for reliable, proven chemistry over splashy additions. Now, With the season underway, Green and the Warriors will continue working with the roster they have, aiming to capitalize on the strength of their core and proving that continuity may be as valuable as any offseason acquisition.